All right, mate.
All right, I have my man, the man that I've been wanting to actually have a chat with and get it hosted because, buddy, I just talk about you all the time and I want to actually have a video that I can refer to as the guy that I gave that advice to rather than going, I go on his Instagram page. So your name is not RX Painters, my man. It's actually Howard, and we just talked about this before, Bedoya. Is that right?
That's the one.
All right,
That's the one. Perfectly pronounced. Well done.
All right, man. And you have to realize that this is the most unplanned podcast you'll ever be a part of.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't even have questions ready, man. That's how unprepared I am.
Mate, I'm sitting in my van and I don't even have headphones, so that's how prepared I am.
It doesn't matter. You sound and look beautiful, mate. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
That's the main thing.
That's the main thing. Mate, I don't want to keep you too long because I know you're really busy. I just all right, first of all, how are you dealing with the coronavirus? How's business anyway?
Mate, I was really, really positive. I was doing really well, sort of work-wise, and it's only starting to hit home pretty much today. So today, I've had 2 jobs cancelled. Yeah. And so those were 2 fairly big jobs. We're talking about almost 2 months' work there. So, yeah, today was probably the first day that I felt the pinch, in all honesty.
Yeah, buddy. It's a terrible, terrible time, and I think it's only going to get worse before it gets better. So, do you have anything in sort of? Are you got anything planned to if the work does quiet down? What you would sort of focus on?
Look, to be honest with you, I've got a really good base, sort of clientele.
Yeah.
And if things get really, really hard, I could, we've got sort of. How do I explain it to you? So just say, for example, I've got a client that has a very, very large house. And what we do is, we sort of take the house apart and then we break the jobs up into sections.
Yep.
And so what I do is, I like to do, just say, for example, the external section and then leave the internal. And then what I can do is if I get really, really quiet, I can call up all those clients and say, listen, we were talking about, the internals of your house and sort of start ringing around and start pushing people to try and, open those doors that way. Apart from that, I don't really have a plan, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is a worry.
It sort of came out of nowhere, mate. Like it's sort of one of those things that came out left field. And if you're wondering why my eye's black, it's not because I've been in. You were wondering it, weren't you?
I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to be, for it to be some awful story. So I said, you know what, I'm not going to ask the question. But no, yeah, I'm glad that you brought it up.
I'm a family man, bro. So it's not some pub brawl. The pubs are closed anyway. So that's my plausible deniability. No, but in all seriousness, mate, like my 2-year-old, I took his iPad and he had a temper tantrum and he threw his whole head back and it just landed right on my cheekbone.
Wow.
And it was like it was like his whole weight, man. It was like I got like king hit. And I'm on the phone with a mate, like on Facebook, and I can watch it in the video, like just getting bigger and bigger.
Wow.
So I felt like Mike Tyson for a while, man. I felt tough. I'm like, I'm still standing, man. I can take a punch.
It looks good. So if you're ever walking down, like those mean streets, no one's going to look at you, sideways because you've got that awesome black eyes. So
I'm only 5'4", mate, but I look tough now, so it's all right.
You can take a hit. I can take a hit, which is the most important thing.
Mate, I was on my couch, but there's no way I was falling down, mate. My 2-year-old son ain't going to knock me out, mate. No way.
No chance.
That would be a story that would haunt me forever. So, mate, just a quick. I just don't want to take too much of your time. So, like, what made you call me in the first place? Because I don't even remember what you told me. How did you even hear?
Yeah, mate. So basically, what it was I've been on Instagram from like the actual very, very start. So I was a very, very early sort of user of it.
Yeah.
And then I went off on my own and started my own painting business. And then I started seeing that there was a lot of, sort of different companies that had not only their private page, but their actual business page. So I opened up my business page. And then Instagram sort of shows you, sort of various accounts. that you might like or whatever, and your page popped up. And at that time, and which you still do now, you're doing a lot of video content. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of video content out there. Instagram was still pretty much just an actual photo sharing platform. And yeah, just, I don't know, it was something about your video content that I would just sit through it. I don't know you, you know, I wasn't really that interested in what you're talking about, but there was something about having someone, it's almost like you were talking directly to me. And that sort of, you know, tweaked something in me. I go, oh, you know, hang on a minute, this goes onto something here. And then as I started watching all of your content, I realized that you really knew what you were talking about, you know, with like all the marketing, SEO and all of that. So I said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to this guy. And that's how, that's how it started.
Because I couldn't remember. And I tell people, like, when you called, see, the thing is, you've been giving me the kudos, and it's the other way around. And that's what I'm trying to get you to realize, like, because let me tell you something, man, the video content that I've been doing, like, the advice I gave you is nothing different than, I gave that same advice to a lot of people before you. And I've given even a lot more advice, the same advice I gave you a lot after I gave it to you. So a lot of business got it. And I'm watching, every time I give advice to somebody or someone calls me, 90% of them don't turn into clients. Right. So I'm watching this story all the time. And the only one that has actually done something with that. And like, I tell people, this is the guy that was like, he was sort of just started a business. So, you know, I can only assume he didn't have much work. And now he couldn't even paint my damn balcony as a thank you. When he full dogged me out, man. I had to sell the damn apartment. So I spent all day Saturday going, damn Howard. And I'm painting my balcony going, damn Howard after City Hall. And I got heat stroke. I got heat stroke too, but I'm the opposite way.
That's hilarious.
So what happened with, so tell me, like, what I don't know is, after I gave you that advice, because what I tell people is, I gave you that advice. All I ever told you was, every job you go to, make that a piece of content. I don't remember telling you anything else than that. But so what I love about what you did, man, I think you're tapping into the social media zeitgeist. When you started having a virtual beer on Friday, and I told you I don't drink beer, which I don't drink alcohol. You turned around and said, well, what do you drink? And I said, I drink kombucha. And you're like, well, then we'll have a virtual beer with kombucha. And the fact that you may be included, you're tapping into the social media zeitgeist, that whole engagement and inclusion that you tapped into, if you realize how powerful that shit is on social media, I think you'll take 3,600 followers to 30,000 followers. I think if people can feel that warmth, man, and that connection and that engagement, and there's something about you that people are clearly drawn to. You got more followers than I do. I'm taking advice from you now, bro. Right? So tell me, from when you had that conversation, because you rang me up. You wanted SEO originally, and I looked at your website.
Yes.
And I'm like, sorry, buddy.
It was garbage.
It was I can't work with that, right?
Yeah, it was garbage.
I couldn't paint that, bro. There's nothing. There was nothing that was making that site look good, right? So
100%.
So I told you to focus on social media. So there's a whole section that I don't know. So you can go into as much detail. After I gave you that advice and you exploded, what strategies did you do other than, okay, because I told people, you know, you take videos, you did a virtual beer on Friday, but I don't know the whole, from the moment you got off my phone to where you are now, what you're doing, what you did in that time, and what do you plan on doing? And do you have things that you can write down that you can test in the future? So you've got the blueprint.
Okay. So to go back to the, very beginning, and it's interesting how you said the inclusion part, because that is the biggest key. So what happened was, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just started uploading.
We're back. That's right.
Yeah, and I just started uploading videos, and so what happened was, it's just basically listening to the feedback that you're getting, and so very, very quickly, you're able to get. And this is the other good thing about sort of Instagram, is that you're able to gauge very, very quickly what works and what doesn't work. By comments and likes. And so I think if you're going to be starting off, it's down to pumping out content, and then quickly every night sitting down and seeing what people liked and what people didn't like. And obviously what they liked, start gearing your content more towards that side. things. So it's just a working, sort of progress. And so, yeah, basically I just started uploading, content on pretty much, just my day to day, what I was doing. If I was going to prepare a door, the steps that I would take on how I did that door. If I was going to paint, a ceiling, how I would do that. And then it just grew. And then, I started doing, and then, again, I, go back to that point that I made at the very start, is that I was on Instagram when it first started off with my private account. So I knew already how it, how it sort of worked. So that gave me a big angle as well. So, I knew how important hashtags were and, sort of stuff like this. And so, it just started growing again, just going back, seeing what worked, what people liked, what the actual comments were. Very, very, very important to to try and engage with everyone that takes the time to comment on your post. Is super important.
I didn't tell you, just cut you off there. What I was also very impressed over that time, and I'll give you advice. I'll watch people, right? You actually replied back to every. I've never found a comment, even the spam ones. You even replied to the spam comments, man. I loved it. Right? I'm like, I don't think he realizes it's actual spam. so, dude, you even replied to the damn. And I had to tell a previous client of mine who's got a very successful jewelry business about the importance of someone's asking, "Hey, I like this ring." And then hashtagging their friend, and they're not including their friend, and they're not even replying to that, and you're replying to the spam, man. Like, I love it.
It's very important. It's key, It's key.
And you applied to every single comment, and so is your content sort of? Also, sorry, another thing I was very impressed with before I forget is that you've got a lot of painters that I've noticed following you.
Massive amount of pain.
That is full respect, man, because now you're getting the respect of your own people, man. Like people that you can't bullshit with. Because
that's right.
Excuse my ignorance on painting, but if you use the wrong freaking primer or some shit, or you're not stirring the thing properly, like my balcony, right? Different shades of white. Some are darker than others, right? Some
correct.
Your competitors, I mean, the majority of them seem like really good people, but there might be someone like they're ready to call you up. And the same thing with SEO. If I say something stupid, my competitors are ready to get that guy's full of shit. So
correct.
So with you, the fact that you've got, I think that's a lot of your credibility, man. And I think there's a lot you can work with that as well that I noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So so going back, so it was just about, when I first started, it was about pumping out the actual content. And then I think another big obstacle that people find when they're trying to, sort of start off on this journey is that they're super critical on what content they're trying to put out. And then they'll make 2 or 3 videos and then they won't put any of it out because they're like, oh, I don't like how this ended, or it's not for you to judge.
Yeah.
Put it out, let your audience judge, and then once you get feedback, then you can start tweaking and tuning, and then you can start fine tuning what you want to do. And
my voice sounds like I've eaten six razor blades. Right?
You sound like Lockyer.
Lockyer. Oh shit, man! You can't even talk, man.
Smoking 40 packs of cigarettes,
bro. He sounds like a chimney man. So like. Look, I'm not that bad, but like if like I tell people, first of all, I'm ugly and I sound terrible. So if I'm doing it, and like the thing is exactly right, man. People judge that's a whole discussion. Like people judging themselves, and like, look, it's one thing if you want to do it for your personal life, but for business, there's no excuse, man. Sorry, keep going. I just thought I wanted to say that.
So and then also, what sort of people have to, understand as well when they're making the content is, you have to really answer this question first of all. Are you creating your business page to get more clients, or are you doing it, to actually network with other people from your field? And then, so then that way, once you've answered that question, because then I find there's a lot of pages that are trying to do both. And then you lose the interest of either or.
Yeah. Yeah. And different
you know,
platforms are going to work with different strategies. So
yes, exactly.
and like with YouTube, I'm going to post this up, right? But with LinkedIn, it's a very professional mindset. So the virtual beer on Friday probably won't work on LinkedIn.
No,
And I want you to bring
flop.
that. It'll flop. And I want you to bring that back, by the way, right? Because I think that was an amazing idea, man. If you don't bring it back, I will. I'm just going to copy it. But it'd be the virtual kombucha day. So on LinkedIn, you probably need to show some form of like, maybe if there's investors, how, the whole renovating and painting can increase the value of your home. Why, if you don't paint your home, you can lose 30% of value. So I think the content, because I've been watching you everywhere, right? So I think the LinkedIn content, and I'm no LinkedIn professional by any stretch, but I think I can read, they're more my people sort of mindset.
Yes.
Mindset.
Yeah. I've gained no traction whatsoever, because I haven't cracked it.
No, you're a tradie at the moment, right? Like
that's exactly right.
They're confused why you're even there, bro.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck's this guy showing me how do I paint a door?
This guy turned up at the wrong party, man.
What's this guy doing here? Yeah. I've got no traction on there whatsoever.
But that's okay, man, because then think, because you don't care about failing, and that's your biggest advantage. So I would treat LinkedIn as this is a way to sort of build, improve the value of your home. Why is it so important to sort of, because like office people, you got to get into the fact that these guys are office people, and maybe there would be a lot in there that do understand, painting and trades, but I bet the vast majority don't, right? I mean,
mate, I think you're the only one that comments on my videos and stuff.
Just to let you know I'm watching you, man.
I usually get 40, 50 comments on my, posts on Instagram, and I get nothing on LinkedIn. Just you going, good work, champ.
Dude, I'm not even watching you as much now on Instagram. I don't know, even after the whole, for the last 3 months, I sort of will touch base and go and look at any tradie that calls me. I'm like, don't even talk to me about social media. Go and give Howard a call from RX Painters and just he's got the social zeitgeist tapped into, and he also understands it from a tradie perspective. All right.
Thank you.
And then I told people to watch you. I even talked about your profile in the last podcast I did with my content writer. She's big on social media. She loves exactly what you did, man. So other than sort of, because I see you're I'm looking this way because I'm looking at your Instagram. So I can see that you're doing still a lot of work. There's a garage that looks terrible. And so are you getting back into that sort of more social content, or what's your plans?
Look, at the moment, to be, honest, I haven't got a plan with it. Sort of, because this whole, Corona thing has really taken a hit on Instagram as well, and so I sort of was really running hot, was, really, sort of in my groove, and then the whole Corona thing hit, and then I've just sort of taken a step back from it, and so I've gone back to what comes easy to me, which is before and after shots and progress videos. But when I have a bit more time and when I'm a bit more comfortable, then I get a bit more creative, and then I start doing all the sort of beers, have a beer and whatever. So that's So at the moment it's sort of taken a bit of a second gear,
Howard, I'm going to call you out on that. I haven't seen the beer thing in about a year, bro. What are you talking about? Not just the Corona. I'm going to call you out on that bullshit, man.
No, actually, I do it every Friday.
Do you?
But it's more just but it's more just of a sort of final packet. I've got this slogan, pack it up, boys. So basically,
awesome,
it's everyone's done for the Friday. Let's have a beer because now it's the weekend sort of thing, which has actually really sort of taken off as well.
Mate, I love it, man. That of course that works. Now I think that's going to work for tradies. So you got it how is how does your lead sort of take, because I know you were too busy to paint my balcony, which I won't forget. Oh man, I was all day, man. I was like, damn it. I didn't even know what paint. I think I bought 2 different color white. Anyway, I sold it, so it doesn't matter, right? It's someone else's problem. So how did the leads turn out? Like, do people contact you through Instagram for leads? Like, you went from, so actually, before you talk about the leads, tell me how much growth you got from when we had that discussion originally to now. Because I told people 300. I think it was 300.
Mate, to put a number on it, I don't know, but yeah, it did. It did really blow up, you know?
Yeah. So from when we spoke, it was more like, anyway, let's say 300 to now. So what about the leads? Do people contact you through Instagram to like, how are people finding you? Are they mainly finding you through Instagram? And they want jobs?
And so what's happening now is, well, it's sort of stopped now because of the coronavirus, but what was happening was, you know, which was really, really nice, which is where I'm hoping I can get to once it's all over, is that I was actually getting people, you know, sort of sending me an email saying, look, you know, I've been following you on like Instagram. Can you come give me a quote? I'm not going to get like any more quotes. I know that you're honest. I know you're going to price it up fair. And, you know, sort of most importantly, I know that you're going to do a standout job because I've been following, you know, all your work and, you know, all your sort of content. And so that, you know, ideally for anyone that has a business is, you know, where you want to end up is, you know, where you're not having to battle other people, you know, where you're sort of tendering and quoting, but where the people actually, you know, basically headhunt you and say, listen, I want you for the job. I've been following you for X amount of time. I've seen all of your content, all of your work. And you're the guy that I want. And so that's what, so like, that's how it's been getting, you know, but, you know, obviously it's all sort of stopped now, but, yeah, that was like my little, you know, spot where I was just cheering, you know, I was like, this is the best. So, you know, basically, you know, Instagram has almost taken out the, like, I don't really need a website out anymore because I just tell people to, you know, sort of jump on my Instagram, have a look at, you know, what I'm doing on there. And yeah, it's just like a diary. It's like a little personal work diary that I share and everyone can, you know, tap into, and you can scroll through and jump in wherever you want to jump in. And
all we're going to want to do on the website is, if you were going to go down that direction, would be, so like, finding out what people are searching for on Google, like what are the top 3 tips to paint my balcony? I'm not getting off the balcony, right? Right. And so we'll create what they call long form blog content. So essentially the parallel between what you're doing on social media and SEO would be focusing on the questions of what people are typing into Google, because like, okay, if you rank first for pain in Sydney, you're going to get a lot more leads, guaranteed. I guarantee it. Yeah. So, the way I approach it is, I'm going to do exactly what you've done here, but I'm going to do it on SEO. So we're going to find, well, how does that translate? Or it will just be, what are people writing? What are they searching for on Google? So you're showing people essentially how awesome you are without saying I'm the best painter in Sydney.
Okay.
You see what you're doing on Instagram? You're demonstrating it. You're not telling anybody. They can see your work, man. The work will speak for itself. That's what I told you, right? If you're good,
that's right.
Right? It doesn't matter if you're holding an iPhone or you've got a $4,000 camera in your hand. If the job you've done is good, the evidence is in front of you. So with the blog content and with this SEO strategy, that's what I would be, if I was working with you on that, that's what I would also be trying to do. This very similar thing, but tackling it from a different angle and different medium. That's all.
Yeah.
What other platforms are you using? Facebook?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, and I've recently opened up TikTok.
Awesome, man. Well. I'm going to follow you on TikTok. I reckon you could be man, I reckon with your personality, and I'm not pissing in your pocket, I really think you could be the coolest painter on TikTok. You're going to scare the shit out of your kids when they grow up. My dad was on TikTok, right? But it'll be something else then anyway. But like, I reckon you could easily be the coolest painter, mate. Like again, TikTok. See, I can't believe I'm having this discussion with you, man. Like, you're already sold on the platforms. You're already sold on the zeitgeist. You know how it works. You know how the 21st century is working. It's like, I'm a jeweler. Why should I be on TikTok? My clientele aren't 13-year-olds. They said exactly the same thing on Instagram.
Exactly right.
And they're all there
Exactly
now.
right.
Facebook,
Yeah.
they said the same thing, right? So, and
Yeah.
the thing is, even if your demographic is 15, why not build brand with them? And then one day, you know, you're going to build a massive profile with the, even if you
Correct.
build a massive profile, then there comes advertising opportunities. Then there,
Yeah.
you
Correct. That's
then you
right.
open up Pandora's box at that point, man. People ask me all the time. You know what they ask me when I tell them I do internet marketing? How do I make money on the internet? That's a number one question. My brother
Is that?
asks. It's the number one question I get in family gatherings. How do I make money
Wow.
on the internet? I go, that's like that. I don't even know where to begin. So my brother will ask me, everyone, if my cousins, if I go to my wife's family, bro, how can I make money on the internet? You know, like, right? I go, what do you have to offer anybody? And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Like, what
Yeah.
value do you have to bring? How are you solving
Exactly.
people's problems? Do you have a shop? Do you have a product? Do you have a service? Oh, I don't know. I just want to make money on the internet. Well, welcome to everybody, right? But the point is, my grandmother wants to make money on the internet, but she still needs a strategy, and she still needs it. How is she going to bring value? So I don't know how we got off on that tangent, but the point is it's a value-driven game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Value. So Facebook, are you running ads?
I was
Instagram?
running ads. Yeah. I was running ads on Facebook. I don't run ads on, sort of Instagram, because I realized very, very quickly that I was running ads on Instagram and it was going to the people that I'm reaching anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so it was sort of wasting my money. But I was running ads on, Facebook, and I think
Leads
ads
from
on
it?
Facebook. Yeah, ads on Facebook work really well if you sort of balance up how much money you're spending to how many leads you get. You will get, the only problem with Facebook is that you will get a lot of people that will get 10 guys to come and quote, so you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
But so just say, for example, you get 10 leads from Facebook and you get one job, whereas Instagram, I'll get 3 leads and I'll get 2 jobs. That's the actual difference.
Because I think your strategy on Instagram, you've nailed it, right? I think that's why you're getting more. I think you should probably. I would be, if I was you, because Facebook organic is dead. If you can look, prove me wrong, but I'm pretty confident Facebook organic is dead. Meaning, if you just post without ads, man, it's more or less going no. The algorithms are against you,
Correct.
right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
I mean, Zuckerberg wants your cash, mate, right? So there's no way around that. Okay. He wants you. Well, I mean, he owns Instagram, but you've already established. I still think you can run ads on Instagram and it still gets a wider reach. But I think Facebook is a more inquiry happy platform if you can figure out the strategy or the zeitgeist of Facebook. So they're not exactly the same platforms.
Yeah.
In terms of,
I agree.
Your strategy will have to be a little bit. I still think, like, let's say on Instagram you did a video for 30 seconds of you painting a door. I think that just needs a little bit more context on Facebook. I think you could go live a lot more on Facebook. I don't know. Are you going live on Facebook?
Yeah. No. So, like, you know what? The other problem about the whole, like using these, sort of platforms, whether it be, Facebook or Insta, is that it's very, very time consuming. I'm probably spending 5 hours a day. And so because Instagram sort of chews up all of my time, I just don't. I really have to try and sort of allocate my time better. And so that way I can really sort of gear myself back into, sort of Facebook and trying to, tap into that a bit more.
Now you've got time. So I mean, now would be the perfect time to try to tap into it, buddy. And LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, you only got me going, well done, champ. So, so I would be focusing on what's my strategy for Facebook and what's my strategy. You've got it. Instagram is irrelevant now because you've got it. I still think Instagram, you could even be like, it's even more lighthearted socialness. If that's a word, that's a word. But Facebook, now you've got time on your hands, man. So maybe try to play around, go live. I think it's not as serious as LinkedIn, but it isn't as social as a thing. It isn't Instagram either. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I think
It's in between.
It's in between. I think people still want to see in YouTube too. You could still make a big buck on YouTube. YouTube is more like welcome to Howard's episodes, painting, give it a name, right?
Yeah.
Painters podcast, right?
Yeah.
Where that traffic that brand awareness that you have, all your painting friends. Imagine having a virtual beer on Friday in a damn studio on Instagram.
Oh, that'd be king.
And just have your tradie talk, man. So, or even extend it, and call it, like the Friday Pack Up Tours podcast, where the boys
That's
meet
a good
up.
idea.
The boys and girls.
Very good idea.
There are girls that do tradies. So it's just a male dominant thing now, right? So just have the tradies after work on a Friday. And that's
a great idea, yeah.
And that would be that is a ridiculously awesome idea. So I reckon it is, man. I'm not going to give you shit ideas, bro. Right? I'm taking up time away from your family. I got to give you some. I can't just blow smoke up my ass, man. Right? So I think that would work really well, man. I reckon so YouTube would be something that would be 8, 10, 15-minute long segments. Again. Yes. The thing that you have in your corner, man, is your personality. I really believe that's your biggest strength for social media. And I figured that out. I think, I'm not pissing in your pocket, but I think you just imagine having the tradie talk in your van, something weird and broken like that, man. That's the sort of stuff that works, man. That's on social, and you can have tackling the topics of whatever you want to discuss. It could be YouTube can give you the flexibility of going really social and just talking about the funny shit that's happened in people's weeks, or I think, or you could take it a serious angle and go down and you can take it whichever way you want. You could do a mixture of both. I reckon the podcast is your next step.
Yeah, because I have to now, sort of, take it up a notch. I've sort of been doing what I've been doing for, X amount of time. And so, it's our time to sort of branch out and again, what you've just said there is spot on. Perfect. I love the whole in the van thing, because this sort of, the way I'm sitting here now is famous. Everyone's like, I'm looking forward to your chats in the morning in the van, or your chats in the afternoon in the van. So that's a great idea.
Give the people what they want. You just said that at the start, man. Right?
Yeah, exactly right.
So I think that that YouTube will probably almost resonate on imagine if you sort of bring someone that's a carpenter, a painter, talking about renovations. That episode could easily go up on LinkedIn. So today, boys, we want to talk about anyone that owns houses looking to increase the capital of their home. So you're targeting that for the YouTube business audience. So you can try to, it depends. You don't have to do that. You can drop LinkedIn altogether, man. I reckon you can drop it. If you really want to drop it, you could drop it. But I still think there's content there that you could create for that audience, because they're very time poor, and they just need someone to come and paint their house, man. They're not even going to get, they haven't got time to get 10 quotes. That's the guy that can get the 10 quotes is 75-year-old Jim, right? Or 75-year-old Bob that's got nothing to do all day, man. He's just like, I just want to see 10 different people on my phone and turn up in my house. Right?
Correct.
So, but the time poor CEO hasn't got time to get 10 quotes. And if they're like, right. I was on LinkedIn, some guy was talking about, painting his balcony.
Whatever.
Yeah. So, so I'm gonna go back to that. So I think that's but I think the podcast, there's a platform called Anchor FM, and that will launch you onto Apple and iTunes and Spotify. So,
okay, awesome, yeah.
So I'll put some. I'm gonna put this everywhere. This is a great podcast, yeah, man. I think that's something. And then what I do is I convert so on YouTube you can show the video and the podcast and have people either there or digitally joining you, and then you just convert that to audio and upload it to Anchor, and then they can distribute to Apple and
Mate, I'm going to pick your brain on that later on.
Yeah, man. All right, buddy. I'm gonna. Do you want to have the last word? The last few minutes, telling everybody. Okay. You know what? What advice would you give to the tradie that's starting up on Instagram, and then we'll cut it.
Yeah, just to finish off, I think my best piece of advice for any tradie or anyone that has a business that wants to start up an account on Instagram to get some more work would be just to start. Start with your first video. It's not going to be easy. The first one's always the hardest, but once you start, it gets easier and easier, and you'll actually start to enjoy it. And also, I think another important point is not to get too caught up on how many followers you're getting, especially when you're trying to start off, because that's what stops a lot of people as well. Is that they sort of putting out 5-10 videos, and the actual follower numbers not going up, and then they end up giving up. Where I think Instagram's sort of changing now, where it's not so much about your followers. I think it's more about interaction that you have with the people who are following you. And another important thing as well is with the people that are interacting with you, to obviously take the time to answer back, and also to go onto their page and interact with them on their page. And then that way you get a sort of base of followers that you're interacting with, and then from that it will just grow naturally. So that's another important thing. And yeah, just have fun with it. Just don't take things too seriously, and it will grow. But that's about it. I just want to thank Andrew again for pushing me down this path all those, I think it's a year and a half ago now, or almost 2 years ago now, down the path of content making, and I'll definitely be taking up those points that you brought up today on the chat, about the podcast and stuff like that. Very, very valid points. And yeah, thank you again. Much love. We'll speak soon. Bless up.